YouTuber ImAllexx is facing one of the worst downfalls in YouTube history, with his channels losing over 160,000 subscribers within just 2 weeks. This comes after his ex-girlfriend, Alice Hez, published extensive evidence of mistreatment, abuse, and harassment she received over the course of their relationship. This has exposed the side of him that he kept hidden from his fanbase, which is ironic considering his entire career is based around creating expose content on other YouTubers and internet personalities. Hi, I'm the InternetAnarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be looking into the disturbing downfall of Alex Elmsley, also known as ImAllexx. On the 15th of June 2024, Alice made a post on Twitter stating, "Here's my statement on the situation I've been scared to speak out on. It's best it was made public how horrible this person with a platform is. I would hate to see another woman go through this." This post also included a Google Drive link, which contains a number of audio and video files featuring Alex. Alongside that, it also contained an 80-plus page long document with dozens of statements detailing the abuse Alice endured, alongside the screenshots and pictures to prove these allegations. The document opens up with a trigger warning for sexual assault, suicide, depression, and assault. Following this, the first major accusation against Alex is that he tried to blackmail Alice into staying quiet about the whole situation. In her words, "I've been threatened by Alex to not come out with anything at all and to keep quiet, or he'll create a contradicting story to discredit my own, but I'm not scared anymore." And as we'll see later, this accusation is disturbingly close to the truth. Alice also mentioned how she officially began dating Alex in March of last year, and later revealed that they broke up in December of 2023, so the relationship only lasted about 9 months in total. Now, that's just 9 months, but with the sheer number and severity of the accusations in this document, it almost makes it unbelievable that it all went down in less than a year. That being said, the first issue Alice faced was Alex's constant need for attention. He expected her to be available for Discord calls 24/7, and she states, "Alex felt that because I'm home all day and work from home, that I would be able to call 24/7, and to completely shut out any other social interactions I have with my friends. And when she couldn't join a call because she was busy elsewhere, like with friends or family, Alex would emotionally blackmail her, saying things like, 'Guess everyone has got something better to do,' or 'No one wants me.' Either that, or he would get angry and start dishing out a barrage of insults. 'Idiot, you text like a retard, so call me. You're stupid.' And if Alice tried to apologize and calm things down, he'd stay heated and go as far as telling her to off and calling her a cunt. She further explains, "After screaming at me in calls and disregarding everything I've ever said, he would explain how it's always my fault and that I should apologize, that I should fix it and fight for him after he's made it worse by completely dehumanizing and degrading me. What's extremely disturbing is Alice didn't use the term dehumanizing here as a metaphor."
Now, when it's too fucking late, you admit that you did everything fucking wrong. But when it actually matters, when you should lay down like a good fucking dog.
During this time, Alice also found out that not only was Alex keeping touch with several of his exes despite promising he wouldn't, she also discovered that he was even stalking one of his previous girlfriends and still had her explicit images on his phone. However, this was only the start of Alex's twisted behavior towards Alice. In July, the two of them went on a holiday to Italy. However, what should have been an opportunity for the two of them to finally make up got ruined when, according to Alice, Alex started watching a video about, quote, "a girl being hyper after trauma," unquote, which is a terribly disturbing notion on so many different levels. So, when Alice noticed the contents of this video, she opened up to Alex about her own past essay-related trauma. However, instead of consoling her or understanding her struggles, Alex told her that he, quote, "doesn't want to know what has been done to her by other guys," unquote. He also got angry and threatened to leave Alice on her own in a foreign country with no way of getting back home, and even blamed her for ruining the trip after coming back and saying things like, "Bringing up weird shit on our first holiday, you ruined every moment," as well as, "I have no fond memories with you." However, things got even worse for Alice when she asked Alex for advice about getting into Twitch streaming and expanding her online career. Instead of helping her in any meaningful way, Alex just resorted to belittling her for trying. "You're like everyone else, stupid idiots who think they know better than the only man who has done it all successfully," as well as, "It's easy to sit there like everyone else and cry about it when you're a jobless freak. Imagine trying to teach retards like you and my mates how to do this. And kill yourself. I just told you how to make 6 figures, so f*** off." It would even call Alice a, quote, "dumb multiple times during this argument. And while this is awful, ImAllexx managed to take things even further into the realm of depravity. For some context, many years ago, ImAllexx posted a video in which he criticized Hannah Mojo's use of a racial slur by saying the N-word out loud himself. He later apologized for this and admitted that it was a dumb thing to do.
I deleted that video because I don't stand by that video, and that video was and there's no excuses for that video that I made.
Most bought this apology as genuine, with comments reading, "As a black person, I think he was genuinely sorry in his apology. You could tell he was ashamed. That doesn't excuse the fact he said it at all. But from the looks of things, it's clear that his use of the N-word wasn't a dumb mistake, but rather a deliberate choice. This is because ImAllexx seems to have no issues about using the N-word as an insult to his girlfriend. If you're already disgusted by ImAllexx's emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and condescension, it gets even worse, because these usual insults quickly escalated into threats of physical violence, with ImAllexx telling Alice to, quote, "die in a f***ing hole and kill yourself," and even directly threatening her by saying things like, "I'm going to f***ing kill you," and "I'm going to break your neck." Alice also managed to record one of these horrible threats he made during a video call.
Acting like this is all just me, and that's something you really need to f***ing fix.
I'm gonna f***ing bash your f***ing head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the f*** up.
After putting up with these threats and constant abuse for a bit over 9 months, Alice finally decided that enough was enough and broke up with ImAllexx on the 28th of December 2023. She detailed the events leading up to this breakup in the document she shared with everyone on Twitter. According to her statements, on the day of the breakup, ImAllexx asked if he could help with any house chores. She told him to clean the sides of the kitchen cabinets and take out the bins, but instead of doing the tasks he asked for, he started screaming at her for giving him more than one task and telling her that he couldn't handle more than one at a time. And as Alice tried to walk away to avoid any further escalation, ImAllexx crossed a major line. He allegedly became physically violent. According to the document in Alice's Google Drive, ImAllexx kicked her in the back, nearly making her fall to the ground. At this point, Alice was scared out of her mind and was panicking. She was afraid that ImAllexx would hit her again, so she started recording on her phone just in case. All the while, ImAllexx began following her around, insulting her further and trying to incite another argument. During his rambling, he also says that he's the one who pays for everything, so what Alice has to say doesn't matter one bit. After Alice left, he also began threatening to throw her remaining stuff out, including her PC setup worth over £4,000. She quickly returned to take it back, but it was too late. Her setup was on the floor in pieces, the keyboard was broken and scattered everywhere, and both her monitor screens were also smashed to bits. From what we've seen so far, there's plenty of evidence to show just how abusive ImAllexx had been towards Alice since the very beginning of their relationship. Yet something completely surprising happened after the breakup. Put simply, ImAllexx suddenly turned into a new man, or at least that's what he began saying, stating that he, quote, wants to make stuff better, and that he, quote, wants everything to be normal again. By this point, Alice wanted nothing to do with him, so she began ignoring him completely and even blocked his number, which is a clear indicator that she did not want to discuss anything with him. However, ImAllexx kept messaging her on different social platforms, including ones she made for her cat, in hopes of gaining her attention. He even sent her a 24-minute long voice note, crying, admitting fault, and begging Alice to give him another chance.
I'd convinced myself that you were always looking for a way out, when in reality you just wanted me to be normal. You didn't want my money, you didn't want anything from me apart from me to just be what I could be all the time. And I'm so sorry, Alice.
When that didn't work, he tried sending her a gift through Amazon with an apology message reading, "I'm deeply sorry for upsetting you and letting you down constantly. I hope one day you can forgive me and we can talk." He even tried the pre-internet technique of sending a handwritten letter to Alice, reading, "Dear Alice, I'm so sorry for not fixing my behavior before, and I understand this might be too late or too little. You are the love of my life, and I will never forgive myself for hurting you." During this time, Alice Alice began posting things on Twitter and other social media platforms relating to domestic abuse and toxic relationships. Now, if someone suddenly starts making these kinds of posts, it's natural for people to assume they've experienced something similar. These posts can come across as a subtle cry for help, a way to share their struggles without openly announcing them to everyone. And since many of Alex's subscribers knew about his relationship with Alice, they'd likely start asking questions. To avoid such a situation, Alex tried to talk Alice into keeping their matters hidden by saying stuff like, "We have a right to a private life," and that, quote, "venting to your friends I understand, but this makes this whole situation harder for both of us," and takes it to an unneeded place. But when Alice refused to cooperate one bit, Alex changed his approach and adopted a more threatening tone, saying things like, "If you keep posting this stuff, it'll end up being a huge problem." This is also where he began threatening to make up a counter story that Alice mentioned near the start of this document. Alex, "I don't want to talk about you hitting me, and I found the text about the cat." Alice, "Because I didn't, and you'd be lying." Alex, "When you said you'd punched me." Alice, "I didn't punch you over a cat. Is this you saying you're gonna use that?" Alex, "No, I'm not. But right now, you're pushing against me." Before Alex could make up any stories about what, quote, actually happened, Alice decided to come forward with her story and all the evidence she'd gathered over the months. Which brings us back to June 15th, when Alice made the Twitter post that started this whole controversy. As soon as the post went live, people started voicing their support for Alice, with a tweet from Wonderstruck reading, "Just finished reading through the drive. Genuinely deplorable behavior. I sincerely do apologize for the volatile behavior that was directed towards you." With another user tweeting, "I am literally shivering after seeing all this. More love and support to you. Please take care of yourself." The YouTube community is completely on Alice's side as well, to the point that there isn't a single person on YouTube who's defending Alex's actions. It's important to note that a big reason why everyone's unanimously taking Alice's side is because the evidence she's published leaves no room for doubt. There are dozens of texts of Alex calling her all kinds of horrible names, and clips of him calling her a dog and threatening to smash her head against a wall with a brick. That's some pretty deplorable stuff. And while everyone else on the internet was bashing Alex's behavior towards his ex-girlfriend, two of his friends also came forwards with statements condemning his actions. Memulus made a post on Instagram stating, "I'm aware of the Alex situation. I would usually wait until both parties have said their side publicly before speaking out, but I think the evidence here is overwhelming. I spent this morning reading what Alice has written and going over the evidence she has provided, and no one should have to go through what she has. It's awful and disturbing and has seriously shocked me. I'm still processing what's happened. This is one of the worst situations I've ever seen in my life, and I hope Alice is okay. It took a lot of courage to speak out about this." Will and E also took a similar stance and completely sided with Alice, but also made a shocking revelation. "Firstly, I really hope Alice is doing well and commend her massively for having the courage to get that out there. As Mia mentioned, there were rumors of his behavior earlier last year. Myself and a few others hadn't had contact with him since or been his friend for even longer. With that being said, the severity of the abuse that Alice published was far worse than anything I'd heard being discussed, and what he put her through is inexcusable. In other words, people close to Alex already knew about his toxic traits, or at least had suspicions, but chose to ignore the matter until Alice came forward with her complete story. Well, not everyone. According to Will and E's ex, Mia Xmon, she and Alex were signed to the same YouTube talent agency up until last year. For those of you who don't know, a YouTube talent agency is a company who helps them find sponsors in their videos. But when she became aware of the abuse back in June of 2023, she forwarded the information to the agency and pressured them into dropping Alex, which they did. And while most see this as a good thing, some are calling Mia's moral compass into question, with a tweet reading, "Isn't she just as bad as everyone else who knew by staying silent? I feel like we can't criticize everyone else and give her praise because she also knew about it and didn't say anything publicly. But as someone else points out, it's the victim's story. What if Alice wasn't ready to share it?" Ultimately, it is a very complex situation with no clear answer, though in light of Alice's bravery, a couple other victims of Alex have also come forward, detailing their horrible experiences with him. The first of these is his ex-girlfriend Jess Carter, who replied to Alice's tweet talking about how she had to endure similar treatment from Alex. She also posted a screenshot of texts one of her friends received from Alex back in 2019, which includes messages like, "I'm going to kick her head in, might kill her, might actually kill her," when talking about Jess. So from the looks of things, the threats of physical violence towards his romantic partner aren't exactly a new thing, and have been part of Alex's personality for a long time. And just like with Alice, people were quick to come forward to support Jess. At the same time, a YouTuber by the name of King Annie also came forward about about her horrible experience with ImAllexx. But instead of receiving support like Alice and Jess, she's getting immense backlash for something she did alongside ImAllexx about 4 years ago. For context, in mid-2019, the YouTuber Slazzo's ex-girlfriend, Shay, published a twit-longer accompanied by screenshots in which she accused Slazzo of being controlling, manipulative, and sexually abusive. A few weeks later, Slazzo made a video titled My Side, where he showed the screenshots, the proof, everything. He proved that he did not abuse her, he didn't force her to do anything, and he was just an immature boyfriend. In other words, the accusations against him were completely off base and inaccurate. Despite this, some people still kept saying that Slazzo was in the wrong, most notably King Annie. In the end, these false allegations completely ruined Slazzo's career and forced him to quit YouTube entirely soon after. So now that the allegations against ImAllexx came out, King Annie came out and blamed the entire Slazzo situation on ImAllexx as well. With a post reading, "We started to realize that when there was even the smallest amount of drama, and he heard about it, he would make sure to involve himself, even if the subject had absolutely nothing to do with him, and he would just make everything so much worse. For example, the Slazzo situation. Though it was never said in the original statements by Shay, he somehow came to the conclusion that it was and everyone else got the blame for saying his words. However, people are not willing to let King Annie declare herself as a victim in the Slazzo situation. With a post from Wavy Websurf reading, "You helped spread those Slazzo allegations. Don't try to slink out of that. You heard a rumor, did zero vetting, and went with it. Take some accountability for what happened. You co-signed that false story." Some don't even want to acknowledge her as a victim of ImAllexx's toxic tendencies. With a tweet reading, "And now they're trying to take a piece of the victim pie. Alice is the victim, not her. What should have been a straightforward story of a domestic abuse victim coming out to the world has turned into a web of drama which somehow involves multiple YouTubers and incidents from over 4 years ago. This has also made it quite difficult to predict where the situation will go from here. The biggest unknown factor in this regard, however, is ImAllexx's response, or lack thereof. At the time of writing this video, ImAllexx has not yet responded to Alice's allegations in any shape or form. The video of him threatening to smash his girlfriend's head is enough to sink his career on its own, not to mention the remaining videos and dozens of screenshots proving the points Alice has brought up against him. Some speculate he'll make a half-assed apology and try to play the bad mental health card, but given the severity of the situation, that'll only enrage more people. In all honesty, it'd be a miracle if he somehow managed to keep even 10% of his audience, since there's nothing he can say or do that will restore his reputation at this point, which is exactly the sort of situation Illuminati has found herself in as well. Click the video on screen to find out more.